Hi, and welcome to The Local Lens. I'm Jenny Pastasak. The topic of housing, we hear about it all the time. Affordable housing, it's in the news. Maybe you're experiencing it right now, looking for a home that you can actually afford to buy. Well, joining me today is Molly Hilligoss, the CEO of Habitat for Humanity for Wicomico County. Thanks for joining me, Molly.
Hi, Jenny, thank you for inviting me. This is great.
So I understand, I wanted to kind of talk about this first, that you are coming off of another great and successful year of Chefs for Habitat. It's a big fundraiser.
It was amazing. We raised over $120,000. There were 550 people or more. It was terrific. We will do that as long as everyone wants to come and have a good time. We will keep doing it.
And you always change it up. I know when I did it, we had another kind of project, but they were making things, furniture, repurposing.
Yes, this year was the Restore Rumble.
Okay.
And thanks to Pack 14 and all their creative efforts, they the celebrity fundraisers, they came to the Restore, picked a piece of furniture, and then reimagined it. And then there was a competition for whoever did the best job.
Okay.
The guests had these little plastic horses because this year our theme was the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
So you voted with your little plastic horse.
Okay.
And then those items were sold in the auction. So it was terrific. Everyone loved it.
So who was the winner?
Well, okay, everybody was a winner, but the top fundraiser was Gavin Stevens, and then the person that reimagined their piece the best was Dr. Deb Casey at Warwick.
We are reimagining this bed to turn into something that will be in your home.
That's fantastic.
I know, right? It was
very creative.
It was really fun. And we already have a theme for next year.
What is it?
And it is Retro Hollywood.
Ooh.
So it's going to be very glam.
Okay.
People are already just, I've already heard that somebody says, oh, I'm going to be Marilyn Monroe.
What am I going to wear?
Yes, they're already planning their,
And I'm sure you'll come up with another creative idea for the celebrity, them to, participate in, to kind of compete.
Actually, this year it's going to be all the winners from the last 10 years.
That's great.
Are going to compete together. So
to see who can raise the most.
Yes, it's going to be.
That'll be epic.
And they're already saying yes and, excited about it. So that's terrific.
Well, I think for some people who are watching this who maybe don't understand, they think, oh, Habitat for Humanity, like they help people find a house or build a house and you can go help them out. But we should probably, talk about the true mission and everything that you do.
Yes, and it is shocking that people don't know, but they still don't know, even though next year will be 50 years since Habitat was founded. 50 years.
50. Okay.
50. And so we build homes, communities, and hope. And we do that by providing opportunities for low to moderate income families to become first-time home buyers. So they buy the house from us with an affordable mortgage. Okay. So that's the core business or mission, what we have done over all these years. Since now in our affiliate, since 2013, we started helping existing homeowners with critical home repairs. Oh. So imagine, a widow or widower on one income has a leaky roof or can't get in and out of their bathtub anymore because of mobility issues. Right. So we can put that new roof on and, replace that bathtub with a walk-in shower. Yeah. And we do that with deferred loans, affordable loans at 0% interest so that those families have the dignity to live out their life in the home that they paid off. Yes. Although in some cases, some folks still have a mortgage, which makes it difficult for affordability, but we have lots of different funding sources, and each funding source has different rules about how the repayment of that critical home repair, what that's going to look like. So, for example, veterans, so we get some money from Home Depot that can only be used for critical home repairs for veteran homes. Okay. There is no monthly repayment on that, but there is a lien on the property. Okay. So
it looks different depending on the situation.
Depending on the income, like I said, whether they're a veteran, whether the funding stream. So we have community development block grant that we have a grant right now with the city of Salisbury.
Okay.
There is no monthly repayment for those.
Okay.
They have to be very low income, and but there is a 5-year forgivable lien on the property.
Okay.
So for folks that are looking for a straight handout, we are not the place to come.
That's good to say and good for people to know.
Yeah, it is not a handout, but we are raising money all the time. So our Chefs for Habitat, raising 120,000, that we'll go
Gone.
We'll go through that like in 2 months between our home construction program and our critical home repair.
Sure. And if I don't know,
Expenses are,
yes,
home repairs are expensive.
we're all feeling the expenses of everything, really. But if I don't know, that's the thing. I think there are people out there who don't know if they're eligible or, could I really receive help from them? It's just a matter of picking up the phone and calling. And
just go to our website,
Okay.
wicomicohabitat.org. They'll probably answer a lot of your questions. But yeah, we're absolutely available Monday through Thursday from
Okay.
9 to 4.
Okay. But there's also
And
opportunity.
then Fridays by appointment. Yeah.
And there's also opportunity for others to help where I want to help build a home. I've never, goodness gracious, I did build a shed during the folk festival.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah,
you were great.
and that, put a drill in my hand. But they were there to teach me, and, no one got hurt, which was good. You don't have to know how to do it. They'll find a job for you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so we always have construction projects going on, and you'll learn a task for that one day. Very easy. It's surprising how easy construction is when you're just doing that one task
One thing,
all day.
yes. But you get to meet
But the
people.
pride, yes,
Yeah.
the pride of helping another family
Oh, yeah.
obtain affordable home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know
Okay.
that homeowners have 44 times more wealth than renters, according to the census?
That is good news.
That,
It makes a lot of sense.
yeah, because they're building equity with every payment.
Right. Not just paying rent and kind
Right.
of giving it to someone else.
Right. And just, the exercise of going through becoming a homeowner, that achieving that goal sets people up for long-term success in other goal setting for whether it be a retirement goal or educational attainment or helping their children set goals. And that stability of home
Yes.
is so critical for children. So critical.
It really is. And if I have a home from Habitat, it doesn't mean I don't make payments. Like this is.
Oh, everybody
these are-
makes a payment.
Yeah, everyone. I want people to understand that too. It's not, you're not getting a free home.
No.
This is not.
There's no handout. We're a hand up, not a handout.
Okay, I like that.
Right.
But those mortgage payments are affordable. Like people can afford them. They're not house poor in a sense.
Absolutely. Right.
That's important. Very important.
Right.
Because you have to provide other things under that roof.
Right.
And
in the past, we would raise the money, build the house, sell the house to the partner family, and then service that mortgage.
Okay.
So they would make the payment directly to our office.
Okay.
But we are moving away from that model
Okay.
because it doesn't, the repayment of the mortgage payment doesn't give us enough money to start the next project. So we're asking new partner families, we're going to help you with building your credit so that you can get your credit over a 640.
Okay.
And we're going to help you, not going to give you, but we're going to help you with a down payment subsidy.
Okay.
And so, for example, we're selling a house on Grace Street in the next couple weeks for like $270,000. Okay, because that's what it appraised for.
Okay.
That family can't afford that amount in a first mortgage at current interest rates, right?
Okay.
So we'll do a silent second mortgage with no monthly repayment.
Okay.
That when they ultimately go to sell the house in the future, we'll get paid back that down payment assistance.
That's how it works.
Yes.
Okay. That is
So
because
it is down payment assistance, but it is not a handout. It is a
Right.
deferred loan.
and that's the thing for many people. The hurdle is that down payment.
The
They're like,
affordability factor is huge. It's not just for Habitat homeowners now.
Right. Oh,
This is
yeah.
for everybody.
oh yeah.
I mean, look at how many renters. There's 75% of the city of Salisbury residents are renters. And why is that? It's because they can't afford saving for the down payment with exorbitant rents
Because
as they are right now.
what they're paying for rent each month is taking everything
It's
out
taking
that
everything.
they have,
It's
so
taking
they
everything.
can't save.
Right. And then, of course, everybody's Delmarva power bill went through the freaking roof. So there goes, any cushion that they might have had.
Right.
And Delmarva power rates are going up, yes, once again. So everybody's like taking a big deep breath, like, oh, what's that going to look like?
Yeah.
So it's so important that we turn more renters into buyers,
Yes.
into homeowners.
Well-
because then at least their mortgage payment stays fixed.
Right. And they have equity then as they
Yes.
continue to pay, even
Right.
if with that silent second mortgage, they're still investing in that property.
Right. And so we're advocating to the state of Maryland. They already have, the Maryland Mortgage Program already has up to 6% down payment assistance.
Okay.
That's not enough. That is not enough money.
Because what's a typical, I can't say typical down payment because it depends on the value of the
Depends on-
home.
And the income of the family.
Percentage wise, when you go buy a house, I'm not even remembering.
We need to get families closer to 20% down.
Okay. I was going to
Because
say
then
15.
they don't have the mortgage insurance and their interest rate drops and all the
So
other.
20% down
We need
is
to get them closer to 20% down.
Okay.
And then this is for the whole public, like everybody.
right.
And the cool thing is, First Shore Federal has this special program with the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta. So you know how
Okay.
you hear about all these bank terms like FDIC and the Federal Reserve and blah, blah, all these things that you're like, oh my God, Molly, you're
What
just
does it mean?
talking over my head. But there is the banks get their money from somewhere, right? That they then lend out.
Sure.
And the banks make money on the spread, right? That's how they
Of
make
course.
their money.
Yes.
So, but with the money that they make, they're required to give some back to the community.
Okay.
And they do that through a down payment assistance program.
Oh.
And it's through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta, which is where First Shore Federal is a member. And
Okay.
there are other banks around here that are also members. It just so happens that First Shore Federal signed up first. So
Okay.
all right.
So,
$20,000. $20,000. If you are if you're a teacher, a law enforcement, healthcare professional,
okay.
firefighter,
Yeah.
you can get $20,000
For your down
for
payment
your down payment.
on your home.
Yes.
And that could end up
Yes.
helping you get
Yes.
to that 20% to
Yes.
buy that home.
Yes. And you can combine that with the Maryland Mortgage Program with that 6% down
Okay.
payment assistance. And then if there's still an affordability gap,
Yes.
hello, we might have a little something to help you too.
To get you over that hump
Yes.
to buy the home.
Yes. And so you can work with a realtor.
Sure.
And the we're changing our model.
I was
This
going to
is
say,
so
the realtors
exciting.
know that
They don't.
They don't
They
know.
don't know.
Well, then.
They don't know that if they partner with Habitat,
Okay.
so the realtor has the family that's, low to moderate income, but hardworking, good credit,
Mm-hmm.
paid their rent on time. They just need some down payment assistance. Realtor brings the client to us. We're like, oh yeah, you income qualify. Great.
Yeah.
Let's find the down payment money for you. Let's get you in our program. You do a few do some volunteer hours, of course, because that's
Yeah.
part of our program.
Put a little sweat into it.
And then, go pick out the house. Wow. And then, yes, Habitat's going to have to buy the house first, and then we'll resell it to the partner
Sure.
family.
It's-
But the we've got a line of credit to do that.
Yeah.
Like we've got some fancy finance.
Which is, that's what's making it a reality for
Oh yeah,
people.
this is going to help us. We're changing the trajectory
Okay.
for the future because
Okay.
we have got to help more families and help them faster.
Because people are in a really tough spot. And
Yes.
especially in, our community. There's not a lot of houses out there
Well,
that are
there's not a lot of livable ones that people want to buy.
understood. Understood.
I mean, yeah, like I walked through this one house. I won't say where it was or any of that kind of stuff. Walked through this house, $199,000,
okay.
and the price was right, but the condition.
No.
Oh my God! Nobody should ever buy that house. It was like a money pit.
And that's the thing. Do you can afford to buy the home, but can you afford to keep up with it?
It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I said to the realtor, well, if Habitat bought this, we would tear it down.
Got it.
And we wouldn't even that. We would tear it down
Okay.
and we would build 2 new houses on that land because there's enough land there.
Okay.
And she was like, okay, well, when are you going to make an offer?
Oh, well.
I was like, well, But
They have to pass inspection, don't they?
no,
I mean,
not necessarily.
oh. To buy it, to live in it? No. Well, I mean, to live in it.
We have this one client right now. She put $20,000 down with her landlord on a rent to own, right? Oh. Did not know this landlord was in foreclosure.
Oh no.
And the house was sold in foreclosure. A new landlord comes in. She's like, "What do you mean? I'm under contract to buy it."
Yeah.
And she shows them the, blah, 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 the
agreement.
agreement, proof that she paid the $20,000 and all this. Thankfully, this landlord was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And so he actually figured out how to deed the house over to her.
Wow.
And she's making monthly payments to him now.
Okay.
But the well and septic would never pass. There's raw sewage coming out of her house and into the backyard right now.
yeah, no.
And that's why she came to us. She was like, I don't know what to do. And we were like, we were going back to the chain of events.
Right.
And she never got an inspection.
Well, whose
didn't know.
responsibility is
Well,
that?
I mean, if you're going to buy a house, you really
would
should.
think, yeah.
Look,
And it's just a lack of knowledge. I think people
if you're a
just don't
first-time
know.
home buyer, you absolutely need to work with a realtor that knows
Right.
that can walk you through the steps so that you don't make a mistake and so that you understand
That ends up
about,
costing you a lot of money.
so that you can get the home inspection, understand that report, look through it, anticipate what the costs to maintain that house will be, and
I think
all that.
that's what's important too about your mission and Habitat. You're not just out there building homes for low income people. There's advocacy that I know that you do.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and there are people locally here that are like, why are you taking a stand on density, and why are you doing this, and blah 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 blah. Why do you care about the homeless? And I said, well, housing is a continuum. Mm-hmm. And everyone deserves a safe, decent place to live, period.
Yes.
And so I will be a voice for those that can't.
Yeah.
And density, an apartment building, a condominium,
Okay.
duplexes, triplexes, what have you. I mean, it is great use of space. Mm-hmm. They're more energy efficient.
Yeah.
They're new, which means, again, your lower utility bills.
Right.
The more supply we have locally, whether it be at rentals or home or just for sale,
Yes.
that increase in supply helps gives people choices. It brings down the rents.
Okay.
That we've seen
as
in
far
other
as
places.
the pricing is concerned, and adds to our economic,
Absolutely.
vibrancy. It's just
For sure. And,
economic growth.
Yeah, and there are neighborhoods that need to just be completely raised and rebuilt, reimagined.
Reimagined. I like that.
Because those, I can't even imagine living in some of the squalor that I see because we do home tours. I mean, we do home visits and see.
And that's all that those people can do.
They're trapped.
Yeah.
So.
And you say trapped, meaning because of
if they can't afford something newer and more that fits the size of their family, they may just be stuck in that substandard housing, or they or the rent's so high that they don't have enough to save for a security deposit to get out of that,
Right.
Substandard
People really are
situation.
stuck.
They're really stuck, super stuck.
But you offer solutions, though, to many different audiences, though. I think that it's,
We
you
do.
know, whether, people go to the website or even call just to find out, well, what can I do? I think that being a resource for people in the community when it comes to housing is definitely something
Yeah.
Habitat does.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not afraid to put it out there, ask questions to social workers and healthcare workers and people that are serving the homeless. Like, what are you seeing?
Okay.
What's happening with the families that you're serving? I have a survey out right now, and I'm going to be sending all the results to the Attorney General because he asked me.
He did.
He said, Molly, I want to hear from you and your area what's going on in terms of fair housing and justice.
Okay.
And what should the state be doing to address these issues?
Well,
And
that's
so-
a loaded question, right?
Well, and I'm just like, well, you're asking me, but really, that would be, if I answered, it's like answering in a vacuum because it's just my perspective.
Sure.
So I would rather hear from everybody. And so I sent out a survey through, Google, whatever. And it's going to consolidate everything for me. And I'm going to have a nice, pretty package report to give to him. And
Do you have an idea of what that survey is going to come back and say?
I have absolutely no idea, but I did
Okay.
already. I got an email back from an agency that serves veterans, and they go, wow, these questions are great.
Okay.
Can't wait to give you our response.
So the right questions
The
are
right
being
questions
asked.
are being asked. Yes, yes. And if this is airing during the City of Salisbury Comprehensive Plan,
Yes.
if you are passionate about housing or economic development or transportation or all the things related to
public services.
yes, then now's the time to use your voice. And even if you can't come to the public forum meetings, then email your comments and what you'd like to see changed, because that is the roadmap for the next 10 years for the city.
Okay.
So it's really important.
In
that
the works
folks-
right now.
Right now.
Right now. And who are they emailing? The city?
There's one person at the city that's collecting all the information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I mean,
can't
that's good to
remember. I
know.
can't remember that person's name, but anyway, it's on the city website.
That way, if they can't make the meeting, they can still get their message across.
Yeah, and then there should be, when the comprehensive plan draft comes out, there should be multiple meetings of public comment.
Sure.
And so if you don't see your comment listed in there, then that's the time to say, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah. Don't forget about me.
Right.
Okay. That's important, especially if you're in. Well, we're all
Well, this is how the
impacted by it.
process works, and it took me a long time to figure out how does the process work? Like, how do municipalities and nonprofits and business and how does the money get here from the
Right.
government when there's public-private partnerships? How does that happen? It happens because it's in these documents.
Oh, that's why it happens.
That's why it happens,
Okay.
because the city has and the public have said this is the priority. This is what we want to happen. And so then the government, the state, if it has funding or whatnot, it says, oh, okay, yes, I can see it in this, comprehensive plan document. So yes, that fits the master plan. Okay, yes, we'll give you $1 million or for that new parking garage or whatever.
Because
it
we
is.
locally decide how to spend that money
Through
our
the
plan,
comprehensive plan.
Through the comprehensive
Yes.
plan.
And then on a regional level, there is the Community Economic Development Strategy document
Okay.
through the Tri-County Council. And that gets rewritten every September,
Every year.
every year.
Okay.
And your grandiose ideas need to be funneled to your elected officials, who then provide that input
For that plan.
for that plan. And that's how that works. And that's how you get federal earmark money to come to this area.
Because when do they put out that report? I mean, I hadn't seen it. Maybe I'm not looking in the right places.
It's not well advertised, so that's why I'm talking to you about
Yeah,
it. Because,
I think it's important.
Like, we need to get the word out.
Yeah.
Like, this is how
I'd like to know the grandiose ideas.
this is
for
how this
my
is how the
community.
airport got all that money,
Okay.
because that project was a priority in the SEDS, Community Economic Development Strategy document.
Which is a great idea,
Yes.
and I support that. So that's how something like that happens.
That's how it happens.
That's the funding
Yes.
piece. Okay.
I know, right?
Well,
It's
and
interesting.
It is interesting.
Gotta
because
follow
if-
the money,
If
Jenny.
you don't know, well, I have a friend who says that all the time. Follow
Follow
the
the
money.
money.
Follow the money. And if you aren't in the inner circles and you don't hear about it, then you don't know. You don't know. And maybe you should know. So
Right.
you can put your 2 cents in too.
Right. Speaking of money,
Okay.
if anyone's watching and you have like lots of extra money
Sure. Hey.
and income and you need a tax break, Habitat for Humanity of Wicomico County has the Community Investment Tax Credit Program.
Okay.
We are the only nonprofit on the Eastern Shore that has this program through the state of Maryland right now. And so what that means is,
Okay.
like, we have a retired doctor who donates like $20,000 every year to us because he gets a $10,000 Maryland tax credit. So
For his donation.
for his donation to us, like, it's a win-win.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
He's like, I get to put 2 new roofs on houses, and
I get a break.
and I get a tax break.
So, and that's how it works. If
That's how it works. Now, we only have a certain amount of these tax credits.
Okay.
And so we have some large donors that call us every year, email us and say, hey, when are you going to get those tax credits? I want so many.
So they're
And so they
planning
pledge.
in advance.
They pledge.
They'll pledge the money to
But
you.
if we run out early, then I can call Secretary Jake Day
Yeah.
and say,
Can we have
Jake,
some
we're
more
out of tax credits. Like, who didn't use theirs?
Can
and
we
then
use it
we
here?
can use them. If we're lucky enough, we were lucky last year
Okay.
that there was a nonprofit that didn't use their tax credits, and so they moved them over to us.
That's cool.
It was great. It was really great. But we'll take property. So if there's churches out there that,
Okay.
sometimes people pass away, they leave their home or property to a church. Church doesn't know what to do with it.
So they can donate.
Donate it to us. We need like 10 more properties right now.
Okay. How do you decide? How does that all work? You're like, I know I need 10 more properties. How do you know that? Is it need based? Is it need
Yeah,
based?
so we have 13 families waiting right now. And the only way I can serve those 13 families is if I have 13 houses.
Okay.
I don't have 13 houses right now.
You say waiting. What does that mean?
They're in our program. They qualify. They're working on their sweat equity hours, which is up to 300 volunteer hours.
Okay.
They're doing their financial literacy classes, the homebuyer education classes. They're paying their rent on time. They're
doing all the
They're
things.
doing all the things to prepare to be mortgage ready.
Okay.
And
There's just not something for them to be mortgage ready to buy.
I don't have any inventory. I'm low on inventory.
I'm
Low on inventory. And so I'm looking for, I'm going to start we're going to start buying foreclosures at some point.
Okay. I was going to say, where are you going to turn for the inventory? Because the inventory is not out there.
It's there. It's just too expensive.
Okay.
So like, sometimes people are like, I think it's worth this, or I paid this. And, I've got one investor who came to me and said, he's got a lot. He's got a couple lots, and he wants $45,000 for that lot.
Okay.
And it's like next to a boarded up house.
Not
Not
really.
Not a good deal. I could buy a lot in Nitsdale for $40,000 right now.
And that's not next to a boarded house.
Not next to a boarded up house.
It's about like, the neighborhood too.
It's about all of it.
Yeah.
We have to look at, like if, that one house I was explaining to you that was built in like 1920 needs to be torn down. Why would I pay $200,000 for something I have to tear down?
Yeah. And
then
literally
start
start
over,
from scratch.
Because then you've got like the demolition cost.
You've already invested Oh yeah,
why
it's
would I
over
do that?
200,000.
And I'm not saying everything has to be a donation, but like, work with us.
Well, where else are you? So you can buy homes that are available on the market. You can have people gift them to you. Like what are
So like
what are the other options?
we just bought a duplex in Princess Anne, brand new,
Okay.
$250,000 for each side.
Okay.
It would have cost us that to build new. If we had bought the land and built worked with all the different vendors, even without the discounts that we can get, still costs us $250,000 to build a new house.
Okay.
At least.
But
So I'm like, why not just buy it directly from the developer
sure.
and resell it to a partner family? And then I'm like,
But
helping families faster
you can resell that at a more affordable price.
at a more affordable mortgage that they can afford. Yes.
Why though? Why? So because you bought it, that's
Because
why
we have a restore where we have, we're selling everybody's stuff they don't want.
Okay.
So we have revenue comes in from that. We have grants.
That's
we
how
have
it all happens.
mortgage repayments,
There's other
tax credit donors.
opportunities
We've got
that helps bring that mortgage down.
Yes, and we figure out how to
I think
come up with that.
I think it's important too.
There's a lot of moving parts.
You kind of rattled off a little bit of a list because homeowner, they need to take classes. They need to show and prove that it's
not easy.
No,
and the program is not for everybody.
Right.
But I think with our new partnership with, being open to working with developers and looking at our model in a different way so we can serve more families faster.
Yeah.
People are taking notice,
They're like, wait a minute, all of a sudden Habitat's not just a nonprofit that builds a house every once it is full blown.
No. I'm looking at, there's another developer that I'm super excited about this one because it could mean 20 townhouses a year.
Okay.
We could.
In Wicomico County?
Yes.
Okay. 20.
It's possible. We're working on it. I can't, that's all I can say.
No, that's okay.
When I can tell you more, then I'll tell you. You can bring me back and I'll have like pictures of them and all that other good stuff.
Let's talk about it when you see in the news when you've helped a family. Can you just share a little bit about that from, the other side of making people's dreams really come true? It's pretty emotional.
It is. I mean, especially because like the families that are about to purchase the homes on Gray Street, they've been waiting 3 years.
Whoa.
3 years. So we've watched their kids, growing up, waiting
to move into their first home.
Yes.
That's very emotional.
It's super, yes.
But like you said, it's life-changing for that whole family because it just builds upon that success.
Exactly. Exactly. And so like since I'm in my 10th year running Habitat.
Congratulations.
Here. And one of the things that I thought was really important to start tracking how many of the homeowners, if their children went on to college, like we say that being a homeowner creates stability and all these other great things. And I've got all these testimonials of homeowners that have, become small business owners and all this other stuff, which is so amazing.
It is.
But to see the children
generation
go on to college and to become homeowners themselves, that
pulls a family out of that to the next level.
Yes. It's not,
because it's a cycle, but it can be the cycle the opposite direction too, as far as home ownership, college education, careers.
Right. Wow. Yeah. So it's really like I get excited every day I wake up. I'm like, what am I going to accomplish today? What's our organization going to accomplish? What are we going to do? And I have a lot of energy and
I think people don't realize because they take it for granted. They wake up in their house every day and it's just part of life. But when people don't have something to call their own and then they achieve that, that's huge.
It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And we're in our 38th year. I think we've only had like 3 families that just couldn't make it work.
Those are
That's
good
it.
stats, though. So
Yes.
all of the other families have stayed in those homes and continued.
Yeah, we are servicing 92 loans right now.
Okay, 92.
92. About half are critical home repair loans, and the other half are our first mortgage homeowner loans from the past.
And year to year, what trends have you seen? You've been with them for 10 years now. So, well, it's 2025. Everything's changed. We have a new administration.
Yeah, so
What have you
excuse me,
seen?
at the end of 2023, it felt like more prosperity for our homeowners.
Okay.
We got to the highest mortgage on time percentage ever in our history.
That's fantastic.
So 93% paid on time, no lates. That's a big deal for the
I was
families
going to
that we
say,
serve.
so that's important.
Now it's slipped down to like 86%, which is still not bad. When I took over 10 years ago, it was like 65% paying on time.
Yeah, something's
So,
not working then.
Something was,
because
yeah, it was,
people really then maybe they can't afford that mortgage. I don't know,
I don't know.
or other things happen.
I have
in life.
I have like a 25-year mortgage. Like I've been a loan officer for a very long time,
Okay.
helping people get into houses
Mm-hmm.
is my passion since Hurricane Katrina. Like,
Okay.
some people viewing this maybe don't even know about Hurricane Katrina years and years ago, but I'm that old. I am definitely that old. So yeah, it's great. I love it. I love it.
And have you seen now fast forward to 2025, it's more challenging? Like what?
It's more challenging for us and for families because the cost of housing has skyrocketed
Yeah.
and their incomes haven't.
That's a problem.
Hello?
Yeah, we need to fix
It's called the affordability gap.
It is.
It's a problem.
It is.
And some of our elected officials, they have these like blinders on. They don't care. Or either they don't care or they're profiting from the, from the high rents.
Sure.
Personally.
Right.
And they like that. They don't want to see change.
Yeah.
So that's
But
the
that's a gap.
politics. That's the politics of it, and that's very sad because their constituents are the ones that are suffering. But
Yeah.
we
Can
are
help.
going to fix that.
Yeah.
So
Well, congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah, this has been it's been fun though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've enjoyed this conversation, right?
No, I have. I'm saying like your years with Habitat though.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
you've seen growth. You've seen your team. Maybe we should talk about your team.
My team is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, I have a solid tenured staff. We have the AmeriCorps program that, thank the Lord, even with all these federal cuts,
Okay.
our program was saved.
That's fantastic.
That's not the case for other habitats across the nation. 80% of all AmeriCorps programs nationwide were cut. We also have the Maryland Service Year option, which Governor Moore put in place a couple years ago,
Okay.
and we'll be going into our third year. So we were the pilot year, because of course, when someone says, "You want to try something?"
Molly
My
says
hand
yes.
is up. I'm like, I'll be the guinea pig, and so we were the first, and then we did it again, and we have 5 members serving, and then the service year option, we take on that member on our payroll
Okay.
at $15 an hour, and they work full time. And at the end of their service year, the state gives them $6,000 in cash for a vehicle or education or whatever, workforce tools, whatever it
Okay.
is that they need. So
And that's 1 year
One
that they
year.
designate to help you for in return that money.
and they learn, and they learn soft skills. They have 1 day out of each week is all professional development training. It's apprenticeship based.
We're helping,
pretty exciting.
them. We're helping you,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
them to further their that sounds like a good program.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So
It's
you
great.
you made the cut, and you're going to continue on with that
Yes, absolutely,
program. Okay.
absolutely.
So you talked about your team. They're obviously, you said tenured, and they wear a lot of different hats because you guys are everywhere all the time. I
We
feel like.
are,
Yeah.
but that's kind of like the way a nonprofit
Sure.
operates. You have to be willing to wear lots of hats and do different things. And, but I will say that I do tell my team that even though I'm an idea person and lots of energy, not every idea is a winner.
Yeah.
So,
You just got to figure that out.
it's okay to say, hey, Molly, have you thought about XYZ? And I'll be like, ooh, maybe
No.
that one's not a good idea.
Right.
But
You can bounce ideas off of them to
Yeah,
come up with
yeah.
the good idea.
exactly.
That's good.
So, yeah. So, and I think everybody, we get along great. I mean, I know we get along great.
Yeah.
And my AmeriCorps members all of them want to come back for another year.
They do.
They want to come back. I mean, earning poverty wages, they want to come back because they just love it so much.
So and I think that's a good point to make, kind of to wrap this up, is that, if you want to participate, there is a role, there's something that you can do.
Oh, there's always something.
Whether you're good with your hands or not, you can
If you want to make a difference,
Yeah.
then we will match your preferences with our needs.
Okay.
So,
If you need help, go to the website, right?
yeah, wicomicohabitat.org.
Okay. Give them a call.
Looking
and
forward to
they'll put you to work.
meeting you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again. I really appreciate this.
Definitely. We've learned a lot today about housing in our local community and how you can help be part of the solution for people looking for affordable housing. You're watching The Local Lens. I'm Jenny Pastisak. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you next time.